it's Parker, and welcome to my channel if you are new here. If you haven't checked out any of this series previously, I do heavily suggest you go do so now, as we are on chapter 25 and 26 of Nothing Left to Lose by Shawnee VFX. That's Shawnee VFX. The link will be in the description if you would prefer to go read her story now rather than listening to me read it aloud. And with that said, I would like to say I have not done the voices in a very long while, so please be patient with me. I love you guys so much, and I hate to say it, but I am quite out of touch for a while. With that said, let's get on with the rest of the video, and with no further ado, this is chapters 25 and 26 of Nothing Left to Lose by Shawnee VFX. Patton's point of view. Day 24. Don't wait on it. You're a great guy, and if Logan doesn't see that, then you shouldn't waste all your time just loving him from the sidelines. Maybe Virgil's right. Oh, who am I kidding? Of course he's right. Even if it possibly ruins our friendship, I have to tell him that I like him. I've had this crush long enough to know it's not gonna go away anytime soon. I asked Logan about work, and now he had to be all cute looking while he talked about his day. Heck, I could barely even pay attention. His eyes just light up when he talks about something he likes, and Patton, are you adequate? You appear unfocused, he asks, snapping me out of my thoughts. He's so flipping caring. Yeah, just spaced out for a second. Spaced? Because you work at the planetarium, I exclaimed, proud of the accidental phlegm. Logan frowned slightly in an exaggerated pout. Sure, his disapproval of my puns kinda hurts, but dang it, he's too amazing. I'm sure he doesn't actually hate them as much as he says he does. I pick up everyone's mostly empty dishes, abandoning them in the sink to clean later as I wait for Roman and Virgil to leave. Hey, Logan, do you want to go on a walk or something? Please say yes, please say yes. All right, may I inquire the reasoning for that? Logan asks, standing up. I shrug, not exactly wanting to say the real reason. Seems nice out, and getting some fresh air couldn't hurt. Actually, with the amount of air pollution, it is quite possible. He pauses as I pout. I mean, that sounds great, Patton. Yay, I exclaim, going to get my shoes. He slips on his own shoes and waits for me by the door. You ready? If I was not ready, then I would not be standing here, he points out. I laugh slightly as I drag him out of the apartment. Did you have a destination in mind? Not really. We could go to the park, I suggest. It was one of my favorite places in the city, with all the nice flowers and lights. That, and there are no spiders in the park because some rich guy pays for the upkeep of it. That is an acceptable choice, Logan agrees, and I try so hard not to squeal. Then it's decided, let's go. We get out to the park and find it mostly empty. Only a few joggers and couples are out. It's darker than I expected, and the lamps are turning on around us. We walk along the sidewalk, heeding the stay off the grass signs littered about, and generally enjoying the scenery. I can see why you chose this place to walk. It makes for quite pleasant scenery. I smile. Yeah, I respond quietly, not knowing what else to say. We continue walking, and I may or may not be resisting the urge to hold his hand. Eventually, we come up to this gazebo, and I get an idea. I grab him by the arm and drag him into the gazebo without warning. Patton, would you mind explaining why you felt the need of bringing me here in such a manner when you could have simply pointed out the structure to me? Logan asks, flustered by the contact, or at least he looks flustered. It's hard to tell since he looks serious all the time. Because that would be boring, and I got excited, I explain, freeing his arm from my grasp. I lean on the railing of the gazebo and stare at the dark city. No stars are out yet, at least from what I can see. In big cities, the artificial light kind of blocks out the stars. Can I talk to you about something emotion-related? I I turned to find him looking confused. I guess, but I do not see how I would be considered much help on such a matter. What would you do if someone liked you? No. What would you do if you liked someone as more than a friend but don't know how to tell them? He pauses, moving to stand next to me. Assuming you mean you've taken an interest in someone in a romantic sense, I would suggest you tell them. Well, what if you're scared to tell them because you're sure they don't feel the same? I mumble. Keeping a secret of that magnitude to yourself can be quite stress inducing, so I'd suggest that you find a way to tell them, thus relieving the stress. I straighten up. Logan, can I do something? Promise not to get mad? He looks at me concerned. I promise not to become angry with you. He assures me, resting his hand on mine. Okay, Patton, don't freak out. You got this. I think, well, I know, that I have a giant crush on you. His expression is unreadable, and I can practically feel my heart slowly tearing in two with each second. Patton, may I try something without you becoming angry with me? He asks. Yeah, I squeak out. He nods and takes a deep breath before facing me directly. I turn towards him as well as he places his hand on my cheek. Oh my god, oh my god, oh my god, oh my god, please tell me this isn't a dream. He leans in slightly, his eyes seemingly going down to my lips before looking back up. Before he can decide against it, he closes the gap between us, kissing me softly. I quickly calm myself down enough to kiss him back, my arms going around his neck. He pulls away from the kiss after a second. It appears that I have figuratively caught feelings for you too, Patton, he says with a small smile. Do you like food? What? Yeah. Do you like romantic outings? I guess. Please tell me where you're going with this. I can provide both of those, if you would like to accompany me on a date, he says smoothly. I smile at his strange way of asking me out. I'd like that. Owie, that kind of hurt. Okay, we got this next part. Click, click. Chapter 26, Roman's Point of View. Day 27. Ever since the whole hoodie incident, I've realized just how insensitive I can be. Pretty much every memory I have of Virgil played through my head last night, and it only made it obvious how hard it'd be to get him to like me. Like the day of the interrogation, I may not have wanted to admit he was right, but I knew little about the people of New Vixen, especially the poor. Virgil, 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 I say, knocking excitedly on his door. What, he says, opening the door. I wanted to go on a fun day, or whatever, around New Vixen, since I feel like I've barely seen the city. He squints slightly as he tries to figure out what I mean while still half asleep. So, you want to walk around with me and do something with you? Yeah, I figured we could go to different places, like the zoo or a park, I explained, or the homeless shelter, since you were right back in the interrogation room. I've never been. So this is just so you can learn more about the woman I said gave me my jacket, he questions. At least he didn't figure out that I just wanted an excuse to get closer to him. Well, that would have been a great plan if I thought of it. If that was my plan, would it have worked? I don't have a problem with visiting her if you're that curious. Heck yes, I'm curious. I'll hopefully need her blessing in the near future. When are you wanting to leave? In all honesty, I haven't gotten that far. How about an hour? I suggest hopefully. Sure. With that, he closes his door to get ready. I go to my own room, excited for the outing, and he asks me why I didn't invite Patton and Logan. I can say that they went out on a date. I'm pretty sure that Virgil doesn't know about them yet, and they already left, so my excuse works. After an hour, most of which I spent getting ready to leave, I knocked on Virgil's door. Soon after, he opens it up. Probably, oh, probably should have said this earlier, but we're going to have to walk since Logan and Patton took the car. I warned him. Alright, where are we going first? He asks, hands in his jeans pockets and his jacket around his waist. I'm guessing starting off with meeting his mom or guardian or whatever wouldn't be smart, so I don't suggest that. How about the zoo, wherever that is? He smiles slightly and walks off, and I quickly go after him, assuming he knows where to go. We walk for a bit in the crowded city, crossing through several unfamiliar streets on the quieter side of town. After a few minutes of this, the zoo comes into sight with its brightly painted sign that would look out of place anywhere but a laser tag arena. We go through the admission gates with me paying like the gentleman I am. Virgil protests slightly, but he doesn't have a paying job to back it up. Besides, what kind of prince would I be if I invited Virgil out here and made him pay? The kind that doesn't end up with a beautiful prince, princess, or non-binary royalty, that too. So naturally, I try to make this trip as enchanting as possible, which is hard to do when half of the interesting animals are asleep, and this is why I haven't gone to the zoo since I was 7. And my parents became very paranoid that I would sneak/fall into one of the enclosures. We end up going through the entire arachnid building. Holy hell, how does Virgil find those disgusting 8-legged creatures interesting? After that, I can tell we're both ready to go anywhere else. Like with the zoo, Virgil is the one leading me along, apparently having a destination in mind. He stops in front of a 2-story building that's smushed between a hotel and an apartment building. He silently makes his way into the building. I have no choice but to follow. Hey Virgil, are you on your way to see Dawn? A girl asks. Yeah, is she in her room? He asks her. Should be, the girl answers before leaving. So I assume this is where he nods. This is where my legal guardian lives. Isn't this an elderly home? We walk through the basic halls and he stops in front of a door, knocking. A quiet but welcoming voice tells us to come in, and he opens the door to show an elderly woman laying down in the bed. Colton, what a nice surprise! Who's your little friend? Little? And is Virgil supposed to be Colton? Virgil mouths just go with it at me. Hey, Dawn, this is Roman, he tells her, sitting down in a floral print chair. I awkwardly stand next to him since there's only one chair. Nice to meet you, miss. She smiles. Your friend is so nice. Nicer than those other two. What were their names? Janus and Remus, he reminds her, looking at me afterwards since he mentioned my brother. It's fine, I tell him quietly, not wanting him to be anxious because of me. Well, Roman, this is Dawn, my grandmother. I'm sorry, his what? I'll explain later, he promised me quietly. Are you dating? You hardly ever bring someone with you, she says, looking very smug for a grandma. I see Virgil blush slightly. Maybe I do have a chance with him after all. No, we aren't, he tells her. I'm gonna go get some water, he says, leaving. It seems like you two should be dating, she starts. What makes you say that? I ask, fighting my own blush. Sure, I want to date him, but how can she tell? Am I that obvious? Just a suspicion. Don't mind me, she assures me, yawning. Take good care of him. I watch as she slowly falls asleep, not wanting to leave if something goes wrong. Virgil soon comes back, seeing her asleep, gesturing for me to follow him into the hall. She's nice, but an explanation would help clear some things up. She has Alzheimer's, so far, all I know, she doesn't remember Virgil Shaw and calls me Colton, he explained. And Colton is her grandson. Who do you think the real Colton is when he visits? I asked. As far as I know, she doesn't have a grandson named Colton. Or at least I haven't met him, he admits, looking worriedly at her door. What did you guys talk about when I was gone? I laughed slightly, remembering the conversation. Oh, nothing. I do hope you guys have enjoyed today's video. I know I have, and I will see you guys all next week. Or actually, I can't guarantee that because I will be on a vacation, but I will try. And I've missed you guys. Bye-bye.